Welcome back to John S.'s Sports Channel, weighing in everything Championship, League One and running. And today we're going to review game week 14, and what a week it was for me. We're just going to go through the 11 games that were played on Saturday. The other game is played tonight. Hopefully we'll be doing a live stream on that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 correct results. And that includes one correct score. Absolutely brilliant. So let's, without waiting, go through to the first game. And what a game it was. Mansfield versus Birmingham. And it was I really enjoyed it. This was actually one of those games that you couldn't actually tell who was going to walk away with this. I mean, Birmingham had 72% possession, but when you're actually looking at the game, when you're actually watching it on different people's replays and different videos on YouTube, you suddenly realise, and the live stream I did on Saturday, of course, you're looking and thinking, there wasn't actually much difference between them. I mean, 19 shots, 72% possession, 19 shots, 4 on target, 1 goal for Birmingham. 28% possession to Mansfield, 10 shots, 5 on target, 1 goal. They're very, very similar figures apart from the possession. And I keep saying, like, whenever Birmingham actually shoot a goal and it's on target, most of the time it goes in the bloody net, and it really does. 4 shots, 4 shots on target, 1 in the goal. We have to think about things like when the Mansfield keeper gave it to their striker in the bottom. I think it's like, oh well, that's it. It's 2-0 now, isn't it? And somehow we managed to recoup it. And near the end, when the defender passed it back and it was intercepted, and it was like, well, that's going to be 2-1, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. The goalkeeper made himself look so big, and the goalkeeping from the Mansfield point of view was brilliant. The play from Mansfield was brilliant. They gave him a little bit too much room at the back for the Birmingham's first goal. I think Williamson got just, when he ran, there was only 3 Mansfield defenders there, and you can't give Birmingham that amount of room, certainly not up front. But apart from that, the game was enthralling. It was end to end. I enjoyed it. There were shots at both sides. It was an extremely good game. Mansfield, my team to watch. We said it was going to be Mansfield 1, Birmingham 2. It was Mansfield 1, Birmingham 1, and I think that was a correct result. Yeah, that was a fair result, sorry, because they both deserved something out of the game. Mansfield certainly deserved something. Birmingham, yeah, they could have won it on a couple of occasions, but they didn't. But it wasn't because they were poor. It was because Mansfield's goalkeeper was absolutely on fire that day. As was Lee Gregory, of course. I mean, Lee Gregory was just absolutely amazing, wasn't he? That goal was something to be replayed, I think. So Mansfield won, Birmingham won. Not a correct result, but I'll take that because Mansfield are my team to watch for the Championship this year. And we move on to Reading versus Bristol Rovers. So Reading versus Bristol Rovers, we really thought this was going to be one-way traffic, and I looked at it from different angles, from different people's videos, from what I learnt by watching, keeping going back in the watch-alongs, and it was almost like I was constantly going and thinking, when are Reading going to score? Because they're the ones that are making the most and the best attacks. They were the ones making the effort. Bristol Rovers weren't out of it. They were certainly making some really good shots, and even all the way to the end, there were some cracking curlers that just brought out really good saves. But Reading were on top, I thought, all the way through. And then you get that Ford second yellow, and you think, how stupid kicking the ball away after the whistle's gone. You know, yeah, you're frustrated. Yeah, you don't agree with it. But you're on a yellow. A second yellow at that point is just stupidity. I can imagine the boss feeling pretty annoyed with him. And did it change the course of the game? Well, 11 minutes later, Sam Smith scored that goal, and they never looked back, I don't think. It was Reading 1, Bristol Rovers 0. What did we say? We said Reading 2, Bristol Rovers 1. You know, I don't think we're far off. I think that on a different day, a couple of those curlers would have, well, at least one of those curlers for Bristol Rovers would have gone in. Reading were pushing so much that I'm surprised they didn't get two. But I'll accept a 1-0 win. We thought it was going to be 2-1. Correct result, even if it wasn't the correct score. And we move on to Bolton versus Peterborough. So Bolton Peterborough, and we thought that this would be quite a humdinger, and it was one of those 14th versus 12th at the time, and you're thinking they both want to win this one because Peterborough are better than 12th, aren't they? They're a really good team, and they are a really good team. They can play really well. And Bolton in 14th, my God, you know, we were tipping them for second place for most of the pre-season, and they have scorers, they have good players, and they have scored plenty of goals in the past. And it was only when the manager's position came into question that they suddenly started to turn everything around the next game, and bang, they were out of that Huddersfield defeat and on the road to success. So we said Bolton 1, Peterborough 0, thinking this was going to be pretty evenly matched. Both cancel each other out, and one of them's just going to sneak it. Which way? Not quite sure. A lot of you going for draws. I didn't want to go for a draw, so I went for Bolton because they're at home. Only because they're at home. Couldn't really split them other than that. The game was actually statistically, it was one-sided in Bolton's favour. Yeah, I mean, 58% possession, 25 shots, 11 on target, 1 goal. Peterborough, 42% possession, 7 shots, 2 on target, no goals. However, the game itself, I don't think looked like that. I thought the game was extremely even. I thought Bolton, yeah, they had the ball a lot more often. Yeah, they sort of shot at goal a fair amount, but it was never really, I don't think they ever really stretched the goalkeeper and didn't really look like scoring from 99% of them. It was only when we got to that penalty that they got bounced out and bounced back in. Third bite of the cherry, was it for Lolos? And all of a sudden, 90 minutes plus 9. I don't even about to stop the watch along. As one of the guys on the watch along said, Bolton's just scored 90 minutes plus 9. I think, what? Amazing ending, and the Bolton fans just went absolutely berserk, and I don't blame them. It had been a pretty mundane game, I think, really, up to then. Bolton certainly had the most of it, but not really. The game was, played mainly by Bolton, but only just, and they didn't really look threatening as they could be. I think this was exactly what we thought it would be. Two very good sides that neutralised each other extremely well. And we got the correct score and the correct result. I'll accept that. Thank you, you lot, because actually you lot convinced me with the comments that, Bolton with that home crowd could just tip this 50-50 game. And we get the correct score and the correct result. Moving on to Cambridge versus Burton, and another humdinger. We actually thought Cambridge were going to run riot on this one, because I think Cambridge had got the bit between their teeth and they've won a couple, and it's like, yeah, we can do this. And Burton are looking for their first win. So they were both wanting to win it. But Cambridge were at home, and Cambridge actually played really well last time out. But so did Burton. I remember saying, yeah, Burton actually played quite well, and perhaps it was a way, they could change things to their better, to their advantage. And actually, it starts out quite sided towards Burton, and and then just drifted into a sort of neutral. Yeah, it was rather a dull game, but I don't think it was dull in that it was a bad sort of League Two style football. Nothing against League Two football. It's just that they obviously get paid less, and they don't have the training facilities that a League One or a Premier League side have. But the class is gets lower as you go down League One, and this was a typical battle at the bottom. Now, Burton act again the same as last time. The good point from this game is the same for Burton. 55% possession. Did they make the most of it? Yeah, they had 15 shots. 5 of them were on target, but no goals. And you know why? Because the ones that were up in the air were so slow and lethargic that the goalkeeper had no problem in tipping it over the bar, for instance, or catching it. And the number of times that they shot along the ground and it was bobbling on the grass, it was just too low, too slow, and and bobbling around. There was no real, get it slightly up, or if it's going to high up in the air, give it some power to curl in. But there was just nothing. That bite to the shots. It was as if they were just haphazardly we'll tap it towards goal. If Burton could just put some effort into those shots, they could have had 2 or 3. But as it was, Burton didn't make the most of their upper hand, and they ended up losing 1-0 to a Jordan Cousins goal on 84. And it was the same for Cambridge. Their shots, 46% possession, 12 shots, 4 on target, 1 goal. Their shots were doing the same, bobbling. Most of those were just bobbling along the ground and made no difficulty for the goalkeeper at all in the Burton goal. But the goal was different. The goal was an actual shot at the middle of goal, hard, firm, powerful. That's what we want to see. So the first team, I think, really to shoot at target, on target, bang, and give it some really good power and aim was Cambridge, and it went in. So did the right team win? Yes, I think it did. But there are still good signs for Burton, and I just can't help thinking that Burton could turn this around. We're only a tenth of the way, a quarter of the way through the season. I'm thinking a number of games. We're only a quarter of the way through the season, getting on to a third. But we're right at the beginning. There is time for them to turn it around, especially in the bottom 4. Let's see if they do. But what did we say? We said Cambridge 2, Burton 0. Yeah, we didn't think that they've only just started to see the what they can do, Burton, I think, and we weren't quite sure that they'd be able to change it just yet. They didn't. We said 2-0, it was actually 1-0. Correct result. Not the correct score, but the correct result. So next we go on to another interesting game. Can we make it 4 out of 5 correct here? Charlton versus Wrexham, and Charlton versus Wrexham was one of those games that a lot of you thought, it could go the other way. It could, and we did actually get somebody who said it was going to be a draw, and we said Charlton 0, Wrexham 1. It was actually Charlton 2, Wrexham 2. So the person who said a draw, you get a gold star from me. There we are, and we'll go and look at the Charlton Wrexham game. Now, we knew that Charlton could be quite technical and quite clinical, and they tend to have a good finish, and they tend to really when they hit the ball, it's usually with quite some class. And they didn't disappoint. They did really well. 56% possession, 18 shots, 7 on target, only 2 goals. They have the ability to do more than that. And the game was brilliant. Wrexham 45% possession, 14 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. Again, they have this tendency of not shooting very many times. They actually shot more than usual. Of having lower than that possession, not shooting very much, but still winning the game because of that 5-man back wall. The game was great. The game was certainly a top 6 game, wasn't it? It was a brilliant game to watch. Enjoyed it thoroughly. We were actually on the live stream waiting for this one to finish and watching it, and when the penalty got given, and we were like, I don't believe it. I don't. There's a penalty. Penalty at Charlton, and the comment section just went mad with oh my god. This late. We love late drama. I'm sure the Wrexham fans didn't. It was a great game. Was it 2-2? Yeah, I think it was a deserved 2-2. If anybody deserved to win it, it was probably Charlton. They just got hit by this brilliant back line and brilliant goalkeeping, and I think that 5 at the back and the goalkeeper just is really difficult to beat, isn't it? But Charlton now done well against Birmingham, done well against Wrexham. I think there's only one way they're going. Wrexham, they're just hitting a few stumbling blocks, and I think it's like I said before this game. And I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section. Have people realised how to at least stop this 5-man back wall in a way that at least they can stop them from scoring and make it a draw? Will anybody during the season be able to actually stop them scoring and beat this stonewall back 5 that they seem to have got going? It's impressive, but they don't ever seem to... Well, I've not seen them change that formation yet. So it was Wrexham 2-2 away at Charlton. What did we say? We said it was going to be Charlton 0, Wrexham 1. Lots of you all over the place. Wrexham wins, Charlton wins, draws. Like we say, the ones that said it was going to be a draw, well done. You got that one correct. You get a gold star. I got it wrong. And we'll quickly move on to the next one, which is Huddersfield versus Exeter. We all know what Exeter can do, don't we? And they went to Huddersfield trying to cause an upset and trying to prove that they can indeed be the one to stay up there in the top 6. And they played a pretty sturdy game. 52% possession, 4 shots, only 1 on target, so no goals. They didn't really look like threatening Huddersfield very much. They never looked like scoring. And Huddersfield, with their 48% possession, looked as if they had more than that, to be quite honest. It's one of those days that stats don't really tell the truth of the game. 7 shots, 4 on target, 2 goals. I think Huddersfield were a lot better than that. They could have been 1-0 up before Matt Pearson's goal on 16, but it was just the run of the green that stopped them. What can we say? Huddersfield ran that game. It was well planned, well orchestrated. Huddersfield didn't look like losing it. Exeter kept plugging away in the same way without changing, and sometimes you need to change the way you play and change the style mid-game, and I think that's what Exeter needed. If they did, if an Exeter fan can put, or a Huddersfield fan put it in the comments, I'd love to know, because they really do need to be changing something when you get to a game and it just doesn't work like it did for Exeter at Huddersfield. But I'm sure they'll come back fighting next time out. It was Huddersfield 2, Exeter 0. We said Huddersfield 3, Exeter 2, thinking that Exeter would indeed come out fighting from the start and be the fifth versus sixth position game that we would expect, which I don't think it was. And it was Huddersfield 2, Exeter 0. So we got the correct result there. Didn't get anywhere near the correct score. We said there would be 5 goals. There was only 2. But we'll go on. We'll take that and we'll go on to Lincoln versus Stockport County. Well, Lincoln had a point to prove, didn't they? They really needed to show that they can be back in that top 6, and they are deserving of it. And Stockport County, well, they've had a bit of an up and down form of recent. So we were sort of mainly on the fence, I think, you lot. You were the draws, Stockport, Lincoln. I decided to go Lincoln 2, Stockport 0, because there's that many of you going either way that it was impossible to tell which way to go. Lincoln, I think, wanted it more. It was at home, and I think that they have done an awful lot better than they have done in the last few games. So they have been able to show that they can play really good. And that open net that almost open net they missed in the first half, it could have been 3-1 quite easy, couldn't it? I think on the whole, Lincoln 2, Stockport 1. Yeah, 56% possession to Stockport, but only 6 shots and 2 on target, 1 goal. I mean, it's good conversion rate, 2 shots on target, 1 goal. 44% to Lincoln, 12 shots, 5 on target, 2 goals. They'll be happy with that. That's good. That's a good top 6 type of stat. And they played really well. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. I thought Stockport and Lincoln both played really good football. Enjoyed it. The neutral would love that game. It was 2-1 in the end. We said 2-0. I got the correct result, if not the correct score. But both sets of fans should be quite happy with that. I know, okay, that first goal, I think, for Lincoln might have been a bit offside, but I'm not quite sure. You can't quite get the angle. But on the whole, I think both sets of fans will be happy with the performances. And 2-1 it finished. So onward we go to Northampton versus Crawley. Well, if we forget the Northampton-Crawley score, Crawley had 66% possession. Northampton had 35%. They both had 13 shots at target. 4 shots on target for Northampton, 3 for Crawley. 4 shots on target, 3 goals for Northampton, 3 shots on target, no goals for Crawley. But I must admit, I actually thought this was more one-sided. This is one of those games where I don't think the stats really say anything. We have to look at the game, and the game itself was quite one-sided for me, and this is really strange. Please say in the comments if you don't think it was, if you thought it was a little bit more even than that. But when Northampton had the ball, they just looked a lot more happier, a lot more confident. Whenever Crawley had the ball, they just didn't look confident, and they just didn't quite get that pass, that cross that we in a confident manner straight to the person they were trying to get to. Was it a 3-0 game? I don't think it was quite a 3-0 game. I think it was more of a sort of 2-1 game. It's slightly over, slightly more goals in it than what I thought we were going to get while looking at it. It was Northampton 3, Crawley 0. I don't think that was quite a fair result. That's probably the better way of putting it. I think Crawley might feel a little bit hard done by there. I played my joker on this one, and I lost because I said it was going to be Northampton 2, Crawley 3. And you were sort of like 1-1, 1-0, 0-1. Well, it was actually Northampton 3, Crawley 0, so we didn't get anything there. That's one of my only 4 results that I didn't get right. Darn it. Never mind, poor joker. Let's go on to Rotherham versus Stevenage, and my team's win. Well, Rotherham versus Stevenage, and Rotherham 2, Stevenage 0. This was a good win, wasn't it? No. Well, there were 2 games, 2 teams playing the game, and I'm sure they both wanted to win, did they? Stevenage played pretty poorly. Not expecting, I didn't expect that. They have been playing quite well. Even away, they put up really good performances. Here, yeah, 49% possession for Stevenage, 5 shots, 1 on target, never looked like scoring. Never made any real threats. Rotherham, 51% possession, 13 shots at target somehow, but they were all, let's welly it as quickly and hard as we can, and it only 5 on target, and the ones that were on target were pretty dismal. Huggill's goal came off somebody's backside, I think, on the way in. So, let's face it, we'll accept any goal, but it was just a poor shot from range that ricocheted off, I think, 2 people, somebody's arse and somebody's other part of her body on the way through. And Stevenage would have been pretty hacked off at losing it to a double ricochet from so far out. The only saving grace was Malik Wilkes' goal was excellent, and that was a really well taken shot. But whether that was actually, I doubt even that was a direct shot, and whether that was supposed to be a pass. Rotherham crowd booing at half time. Rotherham crowd booing just before the Jordan Hugill goal. This was a game to not watch. The football connoisseur would be rolling in his grave. But it was a Rotherham win, yay! And we now sit, let's have a look at that, in 14th position with Stevenage in 15th, both on 17 points. Dire game, dire result. Was it a fair result? No, absolutely not. I think it Rotherham probably on the balance of things that deserved a 1-0 win, but we'll just go for the result, shall we? I said it was going to be 1-0 to Rotherham. It was 2-0 to Rotherham. Didn't get the right score, but I got the right result. I'll accept that and move on, I think, to the last game, Shrewsbury versus Barnsley. And this is a lot more exciting. So actually, Shrewsbury 0, Barnsley 2, and you'd think this was one-sided, and it was on the whole. 53% possession to Barnsley, 10 shots, 6 on target, 2 goals. 47% to Shrewsbury, 5 shots, 1 on target, no goals. But Shrewsbury had some pretty good. I don't know how they've only got 1 on target here, because I saw at least 2 really cracking shots that were saved by the goalie, and I think the Shrewsbury fans should be really happy that they actually played a pretty decent game, I think, and that Shrewsbury side doesn't look like a bottom 4 side. Having watched all the other games and all those teams around them, if you actually look at that game and you look at the Shrewsbury strikes on goal, and you look at how well they played, that certainly wasn't a bad game. And I heard a lot of booing from the Shrewsbury crowd, and I'm thinking, you played quite well in that game, and I would be a little bit more proud of your team, because that wasn't a bad team. It wasn't a bad setup. You didn't play badly at all. You were just outclassed by the better side, and Barnsley are, after all, they were in 8th at that point in time. Where are they now? You see, You see, now they're in 7th position. You have to believe that you have to think that you were beaten by the better side, but again, like the Burton side, they have there is a spark at the end of the tunnel here. There is a light, and Shrewsbury just have that. If they keep on with those good shots on target, none of those Cambridge ones that in this weekend's game were just bobbling along the ground. Those bobbling along the ground are just useless shots. Shrewsbury actually shot at goal, and they were good shots. I mean, some of them were, you could see the thought as they lifted their leg to do the quick swipe of the ball, and it was they were all really well thought out cracks of the ball, and they were by no means slow. So I think it was a good game overall. I did enjoy it, and it was it finished Shrewsbury 0, Barnsley 2. We said Shrewsbury 1, Barnsley 3, so we were on the right track. We will accept the correct result on that one. And actually, there is another game: Wycombe versus Leyton Orient. I bet everybody's going, "Why you've forgotten Wycombe versus Leyton Orient?" No. I was thinking there was one game tonight, and I went down the list. So we will look at Wycombe versus Leyton Orient, and let's see what their result looked like. Well, talking about teams going up under the radar, eh? What about this team, Wycombe Wanderers? And they've been creeping up under the radar completely. And I don't mind saying, I completely missed their rise to fame here. And they where they sit? They sit second, don't they? They sit second in the table now. And that team was playing absolutely brilliantly. That was a really good game, and I enjoyed watching Wycombe. They played really good football and confident, and it was the confidence that got me. They really were absolutely outstanding and looking so confident. Whenever they hit the ball, it was hit with such great confidence. 50% possession each, but 14 shots at target for Wycombe, 5 on target, 3 goals, pretty good. 3 shots for Orient, 2 on target, no goals. Wycombe kept Orient at bay. Whenever Orient had the ball, which was half the time, they never did anything with it. Wycombe wouldn't let them. Game plan was carried out absolutely meticulously. Brilliant game to watch. Perhaps not so if you're an Orient fan, but for a neutral like me, you'd enjoy that game. Was it a fair result? Yes. Wycombe 3, Leyton Orient 0. We said Wycombe 2, Leyton Orient 0. We thought that Orient could just do something against them, but we weren't sure how much they'd impact on them. Certainly we thought they might have a better performance in defence. Caught on the break, I think, with a second. Because Orient were breaking, weren't they? And Wycombe got the ball and went in and scored either the second or the third goal. So Wycombe 3, Orient 0. We said it was going to Wycombe 2, Orient 0. So a correct result. I'll go for that. And that sums up to, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 correct results, 1 correct score. What a weekend for us. That was thanks to you lot as well. Keep on giving me your comments. Please put your comments in the bottom. Give me the next league result. Give me your FA Cup result. I want to do a live for the FA Cup for teams in the Championship and League One. So please do give me your FA Cup predictions and your next league game prediction. And it's John S.'s Sports Channel over and out for one more review.